Have you ever spent hours studying only to wake up the next morning and remember nothing? Have you ever read the same paragraph 3 times and felt it slip out of your mind like water through your fingers? Meanwhile, Japanese students memorize over 2,000 kanji, symbols far more complex than anything you study, and many retain them for life. And here's the strangest part. Some people feel more refreshed after 5 hours of sleep than after 8. How is that even possible? If your brain feels tired, foggy, or forgetful, the problem might not be your intelligence, but your rhythm. Let's take a step back. Why does your brain erase information so quickly? And why do you wake up exhausted even after a long night of sleep? Your brain isn't failing you. Your habits are simply out of sync with how the mind and body are designed to work. In Japan, students follow a rhythm that supports their memory instead of fighting against it. Their routines aren't extreme or complicated. In fact, they're surprisingly simple. Every morning, many of them step outside for light exposure and take a short walk before school. Studies show that just 10 minutes of light movement can increase memory recall by up to 20%. It wakes the brain, resets the body clock, and prepares the mind to learn. Before studying new material, they review the old. Using active recall instead of rereading, they eat until they're 80% full, a principle called hara hachi bu, to avoid energy crashes. And most importantly, they sleep according to natural cycles instead of relying on a fixed number of hours. These habits work because they align with your biology. When your daily rhythm matches how your brain forms memories, suddenly learning feels easier, and you remember more with less effort. Imagine a typical Japanese morning. Students step out of their homes just as the sun rises, the air still cool, the streets quiet except for bicycles and footsteps. Before heading to class, many take a brief walk, sometimes only a few minutes, to warm up their bodies. It looks simple, almost too simple, but this tiny habit plays a powerful role in their ability to learn. When sunlight hits your eyes in the morning, it triggers the cortisol awakening response. Cortisol, when released at the right time, isn't a stress hormone, it's a focus hormone. It tells your brain, wake up, pay attention, it's time to learn. That small morning walk strengthens this signal. Research shows that 10 minutes of light movement can increase memory recall by up to 20% because it stimulates blood flow to the hippocampus, the memory center of your brain. And Japanese students don't rush into new material right away. They begin their study sessions by reviewing yesterday's knowledge. This small warm-up aligns with how memory works. Your brain learns best when old information is reactivated before new information is added. That's why active recall, testing yourself instead of rereading, is so deeply ingrained in Japanese study culture. Many also follow tiny rituals to prepare mentally, brewing a cup of warm tea, arranging their notebooks, clearing the desk. These slow, intentional gestures signal the brain that learning is about to begin. They're not just habits, they're psychological anchors that reduce resistance and increase focus. So while the rest of the world wakes up reacting to alarms, notifications, and chaos, Japanese students begin their day by aligning their body clock, priming their memory, and setting the tone for focused learning. If the morning sets the rhythm, the study techniques determine how deeply information sticks. And here's where Japanese learners excel, not by studying more, but by studying smarter. The first principle is active recall. Instead of rereading textbooks or highlighting endlessly, they test themselves constantly. Flashcards, quick quizzes, summary sheets. Why? Because your brain grows stronger through retrieval. Each time you try to remember something, even if you get it wrong, the memory trace deepens. Paradoxically, mistakes make you remember better, because correcting an error creates a stronger imprint than passive review ever could. Next comes spaced repetition, reviewing material on specific days. Day 1, Day 2, Day 4, Day 7. This pattern matches the forgetting curve, catching information right before it fades. It transforms temporary memories into long-term knowledge. Many Japanese students apply this without even thinking about it, reviewing yesterday's kanji on the train, testing themselves during breaks, revisiting old material before exams. Then there's Kaizen, the philosophy of improving just 1% each day. Instead of trying to master 50 vocabulary words at once, they might learn 5. Instead of reading an entire chapter, they might review one section with total focus. Small wins compound. Over time, those 1% gains accumulate into extraordinary mastery, enough to memorize more than 2,000 kanji. To maintain focus, many follow the 40-10 rule. 40 minutes of deep work, 10 minutes of rest. This mirrors the brain's natural ultradian cycles, the waves of high and low energy that occur every 90 minutes. When you study in these intentional bursts, your concentration strengthens instead of collapsing. And when motivation dips, they use a simple rule: never miss twice. Skipping once is human. Skipping twice becomes a new habit. With these methods, studying stops being a battle of willpower and becomes a system, a rhythm of learning that works with your brain, not against it. Now let's talk about the part of learning most people overlook: recovery. Because it doesn't matter how hard you study, if you sleep poorly, your brain cannot store what you learned. And here's where another Japanese insight comes in. It's not the number of hours you sleep that matters most. It's the timing. Your sleep goes through cycles of light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. Waking up in the middle of a REM cycle, when your brain is highly active, can leave you groggy, heavy, and unfocused, even if you slept 8 hours. But waking at the end of a complete cycle can make you feel awake after only 5 or 6 hours. That's why some people feel more refreshed after 5 hours than after 8. It's not a miracle. It's simply biology. Japanese culture emphasizes harmonizing with natural rhythms, not overpowering them. This shows up in their daily routines too, especially in how they eat. The principle of hara hachi bu, or eating until you're 80% full, prevents energy crashes and keeps the mind stable. When your body isn't overloaded with food, more blood flows to the brain, supporting clearer thinking and better memory throughout the day. Before bed, many top Japanese students do one small thing: a 10-minute review of what they studied. This isn't to cram. It's to signal the brain what to consolidate during sleep. Your mind replays those memories, strengthens connections, and organizes information while you rest. And to ensure deep, high-quality sleep, they avoid bright screens, dim the lights, use warm baths, and follow calming evening rituals. These simple steps help melatonin rise naturally, making sleep restorative instead of chaotic. Recovery isn't a luxury. It's the backbone of learning. Even with good habits, one element ties everything together: identity. Because learning isn't just about what you do, it's about who you believe you are. Most people say, "I'm trying to study." But Japanese learners often adopt a different mindset. "I am someone who learns." This subtle shift changes everything. When learning becomes part of your identity, you rely less on motivation and more on rhythm. You show up even on the days you don't feel like it. You take small steps. You improve a little at a time. And here's another powerful habit: teaching what you learn. After studying a new topic, many students in Japan immediately explain it to a friend, write it in a journal, or summarize it aloud. This forces your brain to reorganize the information, turning confusion into clarity. If you can teach it, you truly understand it. They also embrace silence, pauses between learning sessions that allow the brain to reshape and integrate knowledge. Think of it like a tree. The roots grow quietly before the leaves appear. Your brain is the same. The quiet moments between study sessions are when neural pathways strengthen, Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes results. And results reinforce identity. When your habits and mindset align, learning stops being a struggle and becomes who you are. So let's bring it all together. Japanese learners don't rely on talent or endless hours. They rely on rhythm. Morning light to activate the brain. A short walk to boost recall. Active recall and spaced repetition to lock in knowledge. Kaizen. Improving just 1% a day. Eating until 80% full to protect energy. Sleeping according to cycles, not hours. And finally, shaping an identity built on consistency rather than motivation. You don't need to change everything tomorrow. Just pick one habit. Take a 10-minute walk before you study. Review yesterday's notes before starting something new, or do a 5-minute recall session before bed. One small step is enough to shift your rhythm and become a faster learner starting today.